Thank you for joining us today on the KREM 2 News at Noon. I'm Joshua Robinson. Laura Pipetti is off this week and Jen York is on assignment. As for today, it's been a pretty mild weather week around here up until today. We've got dust storms, we've got rain, we hear there's wind advisories in effect. So who better to check in with this afternoon than our own Evan Narani, who we promised we did not send a pink shirt memo today.
Hey, if you did, I would have accepted it.
Yeah,
I'm glad
absolutely.
We're wearing it. It worked out perfectly. Thank you, Joshua. Yes, a happy noon hour to you. Boy, very active weather, to say the least. I mean, you mentioned the earlier portion of the week, Monday, Tuesday, mostly dry conditions out there, but boy, have things picked up now through noon and really through this morning is when we saw the bulk of activity take place. We're really seeing this anticyclonic kind of movement, meaning that we're really showing how this low pressure system is moving into the area and moving through the area, bringing plenty of rain to us. Satellite radar has shown areas of moderate to heavy downpours of rain. Those were mainly south of I-90, but that spot has relatively cleared off over the last hours. So if you were in the Tri-Cities or Walla Walla, you probably saw the brunt of it just a couple hours ago. When we look at what we're seeing as far as watches and warnings go, the majority of us are under a wind advisory. That's everywhere in tan on your screen. That's through this evening with the possibility of gusts in the 40 to 50 mile per hour range. But boy, that area in blue just above that wind advisory, that's a winter weather advisory up towards Sherman Pass above 5,000 feet. So if you thought we had said goodbye to winter weather advisories, you were wrong. This is the first one I've seen in the month of May and in the time I've been here from what I can remember. But again, above 5,000 feet is where that's issued for, mainly over Sherman Pass and the northern mountains. Next 12 hours do show that we are going to see those temperatures warm up to about the mid-50s. 54 is that forecast high. Seeing those showers hopefully taper off just past about 5 and 6 p.m. where we move toward dry conditions. Coming up, we'll talk about a warming trend and a drying trend that is on the way. We'll also take a look at all that went on this morning. Dust storms, snow, rain, all that kind of stuff in just a few minutes, Joshua.
Well, Evan, that might have been the first time I've ever heard anticyclonic, so great word for you this morning. Or afternoon, I guess.
Well, thank you very much.
All right, we'll check in with you here in just a little bit. We do want to let you know about 3 things you need to know to get started in your Wednesday afternoon. A 5th coronavirus relief bill could be on the table. House Democrats want to secure additional money for direct payments to individuals, unemployment insurance, and more money to small businesses. Now, the amount of funding has yet to be determined so far. And several Washington Republican lawmakers plan to file a federal lawsuit against the state's Stay Home, Stay Healthy order. Now, they want to abolish the order and reopen businesses. The lawsuit does argue that Governor Jay Inslee's orders are unconstitutional and too broad. The governor has responded saying it's meant to protect the public.
We can't have a good economy without a healthy Washington, and the measures we have taken are designed to preserve health.
Washington's stay-at-home order is in place through the end of the month. Now, Governor Jay Inslee has also said he's working on protocols to open other businesses. The governor says he will announce those in more detail next week. Washington is currently in phase 1 of its reopening plan. Under this phase, state parks are open for day use, but the governor says there is still work to be done. He actually developed 3 advisory groups to help gauge that progress, and the groups will focus on public health, economic recovery, and social supports. Each group will be tasked with getting community input as well.
They're going to largely make the decisions the best way to really collate information, and I'm sure they'll be successful at that.
Governor Inslee does say that the virus has made some issues that were present before the pandemic, like homelessness, more complicated today. He says he's hoping that these advisory groups will help find some of those solutions. Meanwhile, Spokane Mayor Nadine Woodward is pushing to open Spokane earlier than the rest of the state. Last night, the mayor tweeted about some of her frustrations in a series of tweets after pleading with the governor to allow Eastern Washington to reopen early. Inslee says that counties must go 3 weeks with no cases before they reopen. And in response on Twitter, the mayor called that standard unrealistic for a county of our size. Woodward says she believes that the county has flattened the curve due to the amount of cases reported daily and that her office has received hundreds of letters, emails, and phone calls from people asking to reopen the city. The mayor tweeted out, "They don't want a government handout. They just want to get back to work." Now, we talked to Woodward after her meeting with the governor yesterday on why she wants to reopen sooner than the rest of the state.
We're seeing new cases in single digits for a county with a 500,000 population, and we've had no new deaths. We have 10 people in the hospital right now.
Mayor Woodward says that the Spokane region is finalizing its own collaborative plan on how it would reopen. That plan will be presented to the governor next week. All right, today is National Nurses Day, which kicks off Nurses Week. And with so many healthcare staff members working through the coronavirus pandemic, we want to take some time today to thank our local nurses and our healthcare workers. And our own Shayna Walltower has one of those stories today about a local nurse working on the front lines.
Florence Nightingale said so long ago that this was going to be the year of the nurse, and it kind of feels like that's coming to fruition now.
Plus Brown describes the long days at the hospital wearing all his protective equipment and a mask tied around his face as a part of the job.
Everyone is taking huge measures to keep everyone safe right now.
And he says those measures are heightened. While sanitary and disinfecting practices have always been a large part of healthcare, Brown says now there's a bit more focus on why this is so important.
We've become a lot more diligent, I think, even as a culture, about infection control and risk to ourselves and risk to our family, what we could possibly bring home to our family and friends.
And it's this diligence that's earned Brown and thousands of other workers national recognition.
We have for years tried to develop our own practice and our own recognized terminology and our own place in the system. And to feel this recognition is wonderful.
It's further motivation to keep pushing through the challenges of each day.
We've always had infection control. We've always had personal protective equipment to keep us safe from things that have been there all along. And this is just another bug in that line of things we've been defending against all along.
Brown says all they can do is work toward the time when things are back to normal.
The masks are going to have to come off sometime. As long as we do that safely and with smart guidance, I think we'll be fine.